And I am Tammy.
And I am Bridget. Welcome to today's episode on Life Lessons Unfiltered. Guys, I'm excited that you are able to join us tonight. And the subject tonight is: are you who you're supposed to be or who you are pretending to be? I'm sure most of you have never even considered that as a question for yourself. I know I have, and I can't wait to get into today's topic because we have so much to share. Because for the most part, I always thought that I my thoughts were my own. You know what I'm saying? I thought my thoughts were my own, but I didn't realize that all I was doing was just repeating my mom, what they told me, what my grandmom told me. So let's talk about it, guys. Tell me, Tammy and Robin. I'm glad we are all here tonight to share on what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it doesn't even stop at your mom and your grandma.
Your friend?
I mean, no, it's with your friends,
Mm,
your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever. You tend to do the things that make them happy, but that's not necessarily who you are. So,
that's true.
and people fall traps into a trap about that with that, because before you realize that you are not who you are meant to be, you become the wife, the mother, the person that wake up with the kids sleeping at night and sick and all of that drama. But you, by the end of your marriage, 20 years in, who the hell are you? You've lost yourself, seriously, and that's why I think so many married people, after being married for so long, have
Mhm.
that. I don't want to even call it the itch, because people say that it's at 7 years, but after a while, people become unhappy because they realize, especially women, as such as myself, I went through that, was married for so long, stay at home mom, blah, 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 blah. And, the kids got grown, and it's like, well, who the hell are you? Hello, person in the
Mhm.
mirror. You know what I mean? So it definitely
Interesting.
changes. It definitely changes you, or you definitely allow people's influence to change you, I think.
So basically, you have asked yourself that question.
Oh,
Who?
for sure. Oh, and
Okay.
I've answered the call.
What
And
do you
I've
think, Robin?
answered the call.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know if I'm walking in the purpose or the intentions that my mother had for me, but I do agree with Tammy, especially like because I was a stay-at-home mother for a while. I worked for a while, and then when I had my children, I became a stay-at-home mother. So it became, you know, the cheer mom or the swim mom or the football mom or what have you, and the wife, but outside of that, it was like, who is Robin? And then when, I became an empty nester, that's when I had to start to do the self exploratory on
Mhm.
myself. Like, what's my purpose and why am I here? Who am I
Right,
now? Because I
right.
knew who I
Mhm.
was prior to the husband and the kids, or the kids and the husband. I declared myself to be so independent, and so self-sufficient. But then when that role came into my life and then it left my life, now it's like, who am I? What's my purpose? What should I be
Oh
doing?
my God. Isn't
Because
that
I don't
something?
think people really know their purpose in life, or even if they have given it a lot of thought. Like, I mean, I hear people saying that's not my purpose, in passing, but have you thought about what your purpose is, or to even seek to find what your purpose is?
Yeah, I've been challenged now, especially now having to stand in front of a group of people to talk, because I always thought I wanted to go into communications, but then when life changed, communications wasn't on my forefront, but now I'm getting the opportunity to speak in front of people, so that's a little challenging, and I feel the shy part of Robin coming about, but then once I get that microphone in my hand, it shifts, you know
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
encouraged.
Yeah, well, they say you should always try something that you're scared to try. So
So I'm definitely out of my comfort zone, and I'm okay with that.
that's the only way to grow, sister. Only way to grow. Got to get out of that comfort zone. Ain't nothing back here where the hell we've been 100 years.
Yeah.
Only something moving for only things moving forward. But it definitely is a thing that people can lose themselves, especially I think, especially when it comes to men and women relationship or couple relationship, I should say. I don't want to put nobody out there, but because women tend to want to please their guy. It's, for women, they want to please their guy, and as long as it is not hurtful, harmful at first, we down. And it can turn hurtful and harmful, and you still be like, oh, but he's my man, and that's what he likes. So we tend to give in a lot when it comes to our relationships, and before you know it, you someone else, someone that he wants you to be.
See, what I learned is that in the first formative years of life, when we are young and sponge-minded,
Mm-hmm.
and we're told things about ourselves that we can decipher, we tend to take it into our adult lives. Well, they said I should have been this, I should have done that. And that's why you hear a lot of people's stories that they would follow a certain route in life. And you hear about finding your purpose. Finding your purpose really just means discovering who you are, really, And I think every person goes through that, but very few probably ask themselves the question, who am I? And because we've been told so for so many years who we're supposed to be, we want to actually, dance to that song. Oh yeah, mom, mom, my best behavior, mom said. And it takes something almost like a spiritual unfolding to
Uh-huh.
realize that we are individuals and we don't really follow, you know, any certain and the only way to find that out is that you'll always feel that level of confusion. At least, let me talk about myself, then. Let me talk about myself. In discovering the who that I am, I've always found myself trying to explain to others, what I thought about me versus what they're thinking about me. I've always found out that people were saying different things about me that I didn't agree with. And then some were good, some were like, what? What you say? Okay. And then even like things that I've become and actually I'm doing as we speak, as in even writing books, I would have never thought that because that was me discovering who I am by just following my heart as I got older. And it took me a lot of years. And I wish I'd known from I was younger that it's okay to just be my individual self. And if my parents knew to just follow what I was here to do and create, they would have seen that I like music, I like this, like that. Instead, they forced me into school, try to become a doctor. I hated class. I wasted a lot of time. You know, I'm looking for something else. So it takes a lot of you listening, or what's it called, it, awareness of yourself to
Mm-hmm.
realize that what someone's saying and what you're feeling is in conflict because the spirit is always true to yourself, who you're here to be and discover who you are. It's such an exciting place to be when you figure out who you're here, who you are and why. It's such a powerful place. I mean, I almost feel like you can't tell me nothing.
Well,
Not in a bad way.
that's the exact feeling
Not
that you
in a
would
bad
get.
way. Not in a defiant way. Because when
Right,
I get
right.
to take that mask
But
off,
you
I give
know
you a
who
joke.
you are. You
Let
at
me give
that point you know who you are. So of course, you know what I mean?
let me give you one joke. Last week, I fell flat on my face and I bumped my mouth hard on the floor. My lips swelled up to the size of probably my foot. It was terrible. The next day I had to go to work and I'm thinking, oh my God. The old me would have stayed away from people for a week. I don't know if that's my ego, whatever that is. But my mouth looked like I had triple time Botox, okay? I left out of here, went to work, and the first thing I did as I meet anyone, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna laugh at me because if I'm laughing at me, you can't laugh at me, right? So I actually said to everyone that I met, I said, look at my lip. I got Botox. What do you think? And I just laughed. And then I said, oh, I'm joking. I fell on my face. I really did. I was fatigued. I turned around and fell flat on my face. I got the pictures to prove it, guys. But here's what. The new me, I'm so comfortable with who I am. You can't laugh at me. You can't talk about me because I know who
I
I am.
don't care.
Okay. I'll go to work, lips swollen bigger than my foot, and I was having a good damn time with myself. Like, you should have seen these things. I swear. If any of you guys ask me for the picture, I promise you I'm gonna post it. I cut my eyes off, so hey, listen. And that's the power of being comfortable with yourself. This is me. If you want to talk about me, if you feel I should be different, go ask the creator who created me. What's up with that? You know what I mean? So
Right,
it's
right.
power behind knowing who you are, taking the mask off, because the mask is the ego that says that, oh, be this way and be that way. This way is acceptable. They'll like if you be that way. Listen, who I am is who the hell I am. You got a problem with that?
And as long as you happy with it, they say to
Very.
find your purpose is to find what truly makes you happy. So
Yeah.
if you are happy doing a particular thing, that's probably your path to explore and, create in.
Silence. I live a champagne life. How about you, Robin? I live a champagne life.
Well, today is Jack Daniels.
I just live
Champagne
a
for
good
breakfast.
life, the best that I can.
Come on.
No, but I do think that it's so important to find out who you are, because if you don't, you're a fall victim to everybody else's, I don't even want to say scam, but everybody else's vision of you.
True.
And you know what, too, is, I find it's okay to say no to people. You can be a kind person and giving person, but that, somebody that is a narcissist or an ego as high as the sky, they're gonna take advantage of your ass. So you have
Done.
to be okay with saying no and
Done.
still know that you are a good person.
How do you tell that to a people pleaser? How do you say that to someone who doesn't understand that no is a full sentence and they think that if they say no, somebody's going to be unhappy with them? So
Well,
rephrase that.
but
But
they
even
are
sometimes,
unhappy. So whose happiness is more important? I
but
don't know.
but even sometimes when you say no, those individuals don't hear no because they
True.
want to hear what they want to hear,
Facts.
you
But
Facts.
see,
know?
those are the people that you must let go from your life, because they're not respecting your boundaries. And to be your authentic self, you have to not cave in when somebody wants you to do something that don't jive with your vibe. You know what I mean?
But tell me, that's an advice for a strong person.
Well, I mean, but how do you get strong? You start off little by little. I remember going through some drama, and every little thing that I did, yes, I did that. I was able to say no. I was able to refuse that ass. You know what I mean? Every little thing you take, and let it give you more power. But you have to start somewhere. You have to believe in yourself enough and love yourself more than the other person, whether they your mama, boyfriend, sister, cousin, brother, girlfriend. I don't give a shit. You have to love yourself more than you love them to know that this is not what I want. And I mean, you think people are too weak to even do that?
No,
Yes.
I just think that sometimes when people say no, the other person doesn't hear their no. And how much more does one have to be assertive to express their no? No is no. I shouldn't have to
Right.
Okay.
say no, I
But
don't want
I
to do
don't,
it.
but why even act, after I told you no and you don't act like you don't hear no, then it's time to move on from that, because again, they're not respecting your boundaries. I mean, If I'm telling you no, no mean no.
Right. No means
So
no.
they don't respect you. And so if they don't respect you, then they don't deserve to be in your life.
Oh, sorry.
And
Got
I
it.
know that's a hard pill to swallow, Bridget.
Listen, I'm already thinking about all these other things. And we probably gonna go off topic with what I'm thinking, right? Help me with this part because I'm hearing what you're saying. That would work for me. But tell me about these women who are 75 years old, have a guy on the phone saying, "Send me money. I love you." And because she wants to have company, she doesn't say no, and she gave away her life savings. That those catfish people.
But
And I
but
know
but you
that's
know what,
absolutely off
Bridget? In the
topic.
back of that woman's mind at
Okay.
70, she know goddamn better. Okay? No, I mean she you ain't lived to be 70 and don't fucking know you being robbed. Cause you know
Exactly.
she thinking about it, but she want a relationship so bad that
So
she
bad.
willing to take a chance. Cause that's what that is,
Exactly.
a chance.
Oh God. Exactly. And so, mm, Tammy, first of all, you are built different. All right. Nothing
No,
you say.
but don't you agree with that, Robin? I mean, at
Agree with what you're
70, you don't know
saying.
shit.
I agree with what you're saying, but how do you help the ones who don't even understand that no is not the end of their world? Who live an entire life wearing this mask of people pleasing, of conforming, and not discovering their strength in their no.
Well, you know what, Bridget? I don't know because, and that's on some straight up shit because I can't give advice to you as a person who don't value themselves because it starts there. If you don't value yourself, nobody can give you a reason or excuse or whatever for you to change what you think my man likes. So, bitch, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going over here with my
You
man.
know,
And you can't change somebody's mentality who thinks like that.
so are they wearing a
Only
mask?
tower moments and God can move you to say
So
this
tell me,
ain't right.
so are they wearing a mask or they yet to discover their strength and who they are?
Oh, they yet to discover themselves. They yet to
So
discover who they are. And in the meantime, they're wearing a mask of somebody else's vision of them.
true. Tell me, you hardcore. So I'm gonna just ask Robin because she got more empathy.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, because you got more empathy.
When you get that, there's some people.
I don't know.
So
I just
Robin,
hope I'm on the
Robin is the
right path
last
because I
baby.
might have got lost in this whole conversation.
Robin is the
So,
last baby, and Robin, you're the last in the order of birth, right? So you would have had to been told what to do by so many people,
right.
right, around you. So you'd have probably had that. You probably wouldn't have had, you know, I no, I ain't doing that voice when you were younger. You know that part. You
Right.
know,
So okay, so when I was younger, it was a challenge because of course the only girl in the house with five boys, and a mother that is, I'll say is um um more old fashioned and caters unto the man, and I was
Mm-hmm.
more of a feminist in that era of, I can do anything that the boys can do and the boys can do what girls do too type of mentality. But
mm,
I still did not feel as though I had that voice, to tell my brothers what to do, or, suggest to my brothers what to do, because of course they were older than me. So they felt that like they had the reign over me because they were older. So that was a little challenging.
right,
And to become argumentative to make my point was something that I had to do, but didn't always want to be the one that was argumentative. So I carried the argumentative mentality into my relationships in order to have my voice heard. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel as though one should have to do that, because if you're
Right.
having a conversation, if you say no or whatever you state, then that person should hear what you're saying and
Mm.
be willing to comply or work on making a resolution that is accommodating to both or all parties involved.
But see, that may be what you require, but there are some women out there that wouldn't even, bat an eye to do whatever is asked of them. And at some point, for you, Robin, to be happy, right? You had to say no. Like
Right.
we all do. We all have boundaries. And if you allow people to, you know, uh impede on your boundaries, am I saying the right word? Impede on your boundaries, then who you got to answer to? Yourself.
But even so, when somebody says no, or I don't feel comfortable with that, then
Mm-hmm.
we have to work on coming to some kind of joint resolution, because I don't, I think I'm at this age now where before I didn't mind arguing, but now I'm at this age, I don't want to argue. I want to have a conversation so that we can come
Right.
to a resolution,
Okay,
because
but if
I
you
can be
have
quick
that
to, I can be
conversation,
quick to argue and I can be quick to get over it, but I don't want to have to elevate my voice, take it to a whole nother octave to get my point across.
absolutely, I agree. I agree. At this age, you just ain't with the drama. Either you in or you out, and we both
Peace,
respect each other and
peace,
allow each other to grow.
peace,
Right.
peace. So I'm gonna take a consensus. Let's go around and ask, what's the, how can we help those who are not here where we are, able to let them hear themselves, like their voice, in because they gotta first hear their voice in order to project it. So, like, what would you say something that they should think of or something to do to come into that awareness to discover themselves and to take the mask off? I,
I,
let me
I don't know. At first, I think they have to be something has to happen in order to provoke that thought.
you
They're
think this
not
is a
just.
question?
I think so.
You're
I
first
mean,
gonna feel uncomfortable with yourself because
well,
before
they
what?
have to feel like that's what I'm saying. They have to
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable with something in
Okay.
order for it to provoke that thought in the
Yes.
first place.
Because I
So,
used to feel uncomfortable to the point where I would argue with myself. I should have said this and I should have said that. And we were discussing how can people recognize, especially those who are not aware, think about the questions to ask themselves so that they can help themselves become clear with themselves. So basically, what I'm saying is, you know, when you wear a mask all your life, you don't even know if it's the real you or if you the old you is talking and the people pleasing you, etc. So how do you become strong? How do you become aware? How do you become your authentic selves? So we're going to you're going to ask yourself a couple of questions because I remember, I do recall thinking when it was happening to me. Here's what was happening in my head, right? I would encounter a situation. They would say certain things. In my heart, I was sad and didn't agree, but in my face, I smiled and I nodded. And I would get home and I would be in the shower and I'll be by myself and I'll be so mad. And I would say to myself, oh my God, I should have said this. I should have said that. I had all the attitude and strength when I was by myself. And that was the real me trying to come out to be, seen and heard. But amongst other people drowning my voice, I didn't have the courage at the time to speak up. So, how do I help? Guys, how do we help someone? What's some of the questions you have asked yourself? How do you help someone who are not even aware that they know they're feeling defeated, but they still show up to please anyway? I think one of the questions you ask yourself is, how am I feeling with what's happening? If there is conflict there, say to yourself, I will speak my mind and I will be kind. If anyone go against that, they're going against me. Now, that might sound selfish, but that's what I use. If you are mad at me for being me, then you're not for me. I started saying those things to myself. So I would really just say, hey, I'm thinking this, I'm feeling that. And I listen to hear the opposition because people who truly love you and care for you are going to be understanding. And those who are just selfish and just want everything from you and want you to say yes no matter what, is going to be opposing.
A person is, but when they speak, you know, one should always take into consideration what they're saying and not look for it to be supportive of the other person's decision. We got to be
Well, I agree
mindful.
with that, Robin, but you have people that are driven from their ego. So no matter what you say is what they're thinking and that's what they're saying. So how do you handle those people? Most people just kind of, if they're with them, they just kind of go with the flow. Oh, that's the way they are, and that kind of thing, and make excuses for people. But do y'all not agree that sometimes it take uh something to happen in your life to even seek God or to seek a better way of living or to question yourself as Bridget and all of us have, you know what I mean? What's your purpose? I mean,
Um, uh,
I don't know.
well, the spirit is always talking silently. It's a
Hmm.
silent part that crossed your mind that you ignored. Is the I should have said something different. And you'd be like,
You
well,
know what,
life,
Bridget? I'm sorry to cut you off because you said that like two times
yeah,
that,
it's a whisper. It's a
that
thought.
you
You in the
go home and you
shower.
think about, as a young adult, I made the decision long time ago. I am, and this is probably why I'm so straightforward, but I always, from that point on, I was always like, I am going to say what the hell I want to say at that time because I didn't want to go home and lay in the bed and think about what the fuck I should have said to you when I should have cussed you out right then and there. Because now I can't say anything because what I need to say won't even have the same effect. So I promised myself never to go home and without saying what I needed to say.
Cool.
So, you
But
know,
there's some of us that has a delayed effect. For example, the way I was brought up on the island, you speak your mind, you're about to get whipped. Period. Okay?
oh
That
well,
come
I didn't
against
do it
the
with my
grain of
parents
everything
now.
else. So you better shush. Let them say shush. Shut your mouth. Yeah? So you're not able to have a voice, especially where I come from. They don't talk. They don't talk back. Don't even think. But inside of you, you're thinking, hmm. And so because you learn to drown your voice out, you come into the world, you come into an adult, and then you're having these silent thoughts, but you were trained to shush.
Do you think that has to do with personality too?
I mean, everything comes into play, you know what I mean? Your DNA, your environment, your family tree, and everything. So who nurtured
I
you?
agree.
It's somebody who was outspoken nurtured you, or someone who told you to shut up and listen. I came up in a life where I was told children should be seen and not heard. That was a rule.
Absolutely. I think that was our generational, our
I don't know.
generation was, yes, no,
The
everybody in
child
that
in me
generation.
grew up, but I didn't get rid of that part. Am I heard now? Is it okay? They didn't tell me what day and time I was going to be heard because I don't wrote it down. All they told me is shush. And I grew up being shush till I start rebelling. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're gonna come into a point where just you know it, but you don't speak it. The silent conversations
I
you
don't
have with
know if
yourself.
everybody comes to that awareness
I do
just
believe that. I
automatically.
believe everybody thinks how they feel, but they're able to drown it out with the overriding or the more powerful idea, which is I'm supposed to, oh, I don't want them to make them mad. I like her. She didn't mean that. That's why some people get abused physically, mentally, silently, whatever, and don't speak up. They know they got hit. They know they don't feel good. You know why? Because you know you don't feel good.
But you
Right,
just say,
right.
it's okay.
But that's what I'm saying. I think something tragic as you getting your ass whooped makes you start to ask those
But you don't
important
have to get your ass
questions.
whooped. You just have to have the fear of speaking your mind because someone's gonna come against what you just spoke. That's
Well,
fearful
that's
in
getting your
itself,
ass whooped too.
but it's a mental whooping.
Yes,
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's a mental whooping, and that can hurt just as
That's
person as
just as
anything
scary
else.
because
That's
I
the
gotta
shit.
go to sleep with you feeling mad at me. Oh my God, she's mad at me. What am I gonna do now? That's a traumatizing thing for some people.
Right.
Yes, now
Whereas
you
you
got
don't
to
want
put
to
the
go through
mask
that.
on.
Whereas
Yes,
you
you're
don't want
right.
to deal, or you just don't want to deal with it, because I'm trying to do something different and I'm trying to be heard, but the individual is not hearing what I'm saying.
So the
So,
easiest thing to do is to
so
deny yourself.
you become
Deny yourself.
depleted, right? You become depleted and defeated. Yeah. And
Depleted and defeated.
and you
Double
just
D.
conform.
Double D. But I mean, but how do you get from knowing he's whooping my ass and I am worth more than that?
Well,
Because
you gotta
that's a
watch a Tina Turner
process.
movie. You're gonna have to watch a Tina Turner. You're gonna have to watch a Tina Turner movie.
Well, I'm
Well,
not
she
even going to
definitely
just
gave
say
you
it's from a
inspiration.
he, it's just from a he perspective. It's from a person perspective that somebody is whooping your behind because they're not willing to listen to what you're saying. So you're feeling like you are just being devalued.
Right, right, right. And
And
how do
how do
you
you
get out
move
that
from
out
that? How do you
cycle?
move from that?
Cycle.
If it's something that detrimental, you have to be a strong person and just walk away from it. And that takes time. It's not easy for everybody. Some women or some men have the capability to just do it spontaneously. Like after that situation takes place, they're like, I'm out of here. But then you have other individuals that it's going to take a little more time before they
And
do that.
and I know that to be true, Robert. I mean, I had a cousin that was being abused, and she kept going back, and you rescued her, and she can't go back, and until he did something so terrible is when she got the strength, and that's usually when people make that turn. You hate to say it, because but that's just the truth. People, will keep giving and try to make things work because you're the nice person. But until something happens that is you can't take back, that's so detrimental, that's when the change happens. It doesn't happen because, you know, he cussed out the kids or he smacked you across the face. That wasn't enough because you were able to handle that. But until something is handed to you that you can't handle, change is not going to take place on most people. And I'm not saying like Bridget, she's strong, she's thinking about her existence all the time, and that's cool because we are all different. Just like I said, when I was in my 20s, I decided I wasn't going home with nobody's drama. You're gonna know what I feel today, and Bridget is the same way. I mean, she had thought of what
But
she
it took
wanted.
some time to speak it out loud. That's
But
why
you
I
thought
wrote.
about it, Bridget.
I did think
And
about it.
that is that's probably step number one because you at
Step
least
number
had
one.
thought of
Step
that.
number one, it doesn't feel good. Step
Right,
number two, what am I
right,
gonna do?
right.
Step number
Well, you start to
three,
ask yourself that
I
because
want to
now
be me. Step number
but
three, I want to be
the
me.
the thought has to start somewhere.
Step number four, you got to get out the door. I'm about to write this whole thing out. Look at me, I'm
Wait
about to
a
do a
minute.
whole play. Okay?
But some people just don't have that thought process to even think. Because first
That's
of
what
all,
we,
you have to want to be a better person for you to even question that without something happening.
that's why Life Lessons Unfiltered is here to help the ones who can't help themselves. Okay? That's why we're here. We have a purpose to help turn the light on people's dark spaces in life. Because we are journeyed through and we're going to be a beacon unto those who are living in the dark. Come on out. Come on
Come
out.
on out. Come on
Come
out.
on
All
Take
out.
the
right.
mask
So
off. Be yourself. Seek your happiness and peace. And, the hell with
mm,
everybody else. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that you cannot be, happy and giving to somebody else and you're not happy.
I have a simple formula. My simple formula is something I learned in business because your life is a business. If it's not a win-win, think about it. You can't win. Oh, I'm gonna pick up your kids. I'm gonna do your laundry. I'm gonna scrub your floor, and you lose. How you lose? You lose time. That's not what you wanted to do. You're unhappy doing it. You have to think about it. Are you both
Taking care of somebody
benefiting?
else's kids.
I made it up. You know, hey girl, I'm moving. Could you help me? Yeah, I help. Oh shoot. Why do you say no?
Well,
You
you
ain't
know what?
got the time.
Let me say this too, Bridge,
Uh-oh.
because you just made me think about something.
Oh.
The fact that, I mean, that's a good indication when you are always there for someone and you ask them, girl, come help me move. And they ain't got time. They ain't, this is the
If I
wrong
don't
weekend.
go, she gonna be mad. Ew.
Right, right,
I'm
right.
busy.
See, because when she asks you, you got to be available. But when you ask her, she's never available. She
Yeah,
can't
but
help you do nothing. So that means that she really don't value your friendship or you. So you got to
yeah, but
take hints.
I'm talking about in a moment for someone who feel like people pleasing. How do they respond to the question of giving of themselves? In their heart, they want to say no, but the yes comes out
I'll
their
get back to you on that and
mouth.
block their ass and never get back.
Good question. So let's round it up by giving some who are listening, who really needs this help, something to think about before you respond. And I like what you just said, because I have formulated a response for those by saying, hey, can I check my calendar and get back to you? Perfect. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
perfect.
and that's always a way out, don't you think? Let me get back to you on that.
So Robin, what do you think? What would you say for someone who needs to now start developing their no to delay? Because it got to be a delay. That's the first strategy. You need a delay.
That is the
My
first
my
strategy.
strategy is to ask yourself, is it a win-win? Am I happy and they're happy? Because if you're making them happy and you're not going to be happy, you have to really think about it. Here comes the delay. Here comes Tammy's strategy. Let me get back to you. Robin, what do you say? You like that?
I
Let me
would
check my calendar.
say that in terms of trying to start to say no to
Yeah,
somebody,
that part.
you might have to, I know, well, we want to do things out of the kindness of our hearts, and sometimes, we don't always want to reciprocate negatively, but just because somebody didn't do something for me, I'm not going to do something for them, but because it's in your heart to be kind, but now
Mhm.
you want to get to a place where I really don't want to do it.
It's okay.
So,
Right.
I guess the best thing, or one of the best things that you might be able to say is, let me get back to you. I'm not
Sure.
sure right now, but let me consider it. At this time, I just want to take it into consideration. I cannot commit to you at this time, but I just want to have a little bit of time to think about whether or not I'm able to do this task or to be able to assist you in this venture, something to
I
that
like that.
effect.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, so
So
we got
the
to round it
delay,
up. So
the
let's
delay.
give our outtake, Bridge.
Yes, my outtake is, guys, wait till you see who God created in you, who you are here to be. It's such an exciting place to be. I can't wait for y'all to come on board. It's going to be a revolution. It's going to be a movement when you discover you. And the steps you're taking, like what we just said earlier, maybe you need a little bit of a delay before you say yes. Because you really want to say no, you say yes to please. So you need a minute. How about that? So my outtake is, give yourself a minute. Get back to that person. Say, hey, let me check my calendar. I had some other things happening. I really want to be there, but give me a second. I'll call you back or something like that. So you need a delay. delay. Yes, that's my strategy, right? So,
And
Tamara,
my strategy is everything that they said to definitely delay it, to definitely
yes,
delay it. And
yes.
I promise you, when you say that first no, it will give you so much courage to, you'll feel yourself. Bitch, don't ask me shit. That's what you're going to say. So don't be afraid to say
Mhm.
no when you are protecting yourself and your
Yes,
heart, your time, and everything else, and your family, or whatever it is.
yes,
Don't be
yes, yes,
afraid
yes.
to say no to protect yourself. And so, with that, I'm going to wish myself a happy freaking birthday tomorrow. And other than that, thank you for joining Life Lessons Unfiltered. We are great that you are here. We love having you here, and you guys have a great week. And we'll
How
talk
about
to you later.
Robin? Robin, have a out. Robin, did you give your
Oh, wow.
outfit?
Yes, before.
Oh, but that's okay. But
Oh, Robin, no, I'm
eh,
sorry. Listen,
that's
please,
okay.
people, this is the most unfucking filter.
In my quick mind, we are be you when you detox, you're detoxing, for a renew, a restoration, and a revival within yourself. So when you
Love it.
say no, if the individual doesn't hear your no, it's okay because you know that you said no and stick to your guns and stay firm in your no. You know what I mean? So your no is powerful. And if that other
It
person
is.
doesn't hear your no, it's okay. Just stay firm in your no.
And you're
Right,
absolutely right, Rob.
right.
No is powerful. And I tell you, say it, just say it to somebody that,
No is a whole sentence.
Yes.
listen, don't just say it,
With a
to something that's
with
small. And I
is
No, no,
guarantee you
no.
that will give you so much strength. Like the next thing you'll be like, no, hell no. You know what I mean? So people,
She gonna put
empower
adjectives on
yourself.
her no.
it's a no
She gonna
with
put
a
adjectives
period
on her
or a
no.
no with the
No,
exclamation
yeah,
point, but no
Hell
means
no.
no in any
Oh no. Oh
circumstances.
no, 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 no,
absolutely.
no, no, no.
Protect your space, protect your energy, and just live a good life, people. Give thought to make your every moment purposeful.
And
Purposeful?
Stay true to your purpose.
before we leave out, we have to go, happy birthday to
Robin
ya.
and Tammy.
Oh
Robin
shoot.
and Tammy.
Happy birthday,
Robin and
Bobby and
Tammy,
Tammy.
Tammy and Robin,
Happy
Tam. It's
birthday
every season.
Oh,
It's
woo.
every season. Hey,
to
hey, I
ya.
can't
We're
sing,
gonna
but
take you out of here. Thank you for joining Life Lessons Unfiltered. I love
Oh,
you, sisters. I love you.
have
Have
a
a
good
great
night.
day. See you later.